Hi guys, so today I am going to be giving you a definitive guide of every fix I have found up until today's current date for 2/22 that will hopefully aid playing of the world Isla Paradiso that comes with The Sims 3 Island Paradise. Also yes, before any of you comment it 300 times, I have a weird way of saying stuff. I say Isla Paradiso. Is it Isla Paradiso? Probably yeah.
Isla Paraíso.
This is how I say things. At long last, I have finally reached the expansion pack of Island Paradise in my Legacy. For those of you that don't know, Legacy is basically you start with your founder, they play the base game, and then every new generation you add a new expansion pack on. So I'm like 9 generations in, meaning I'm finally at Island Paradise. So I thought, what better time to try and fix this than when I myself am going to be playing it firsthand. So let's just get right into the Sims 3 Island Paradise fix guide. Okay, so the first thing we're going to be starting off with today is the outside of the game steps. So if you're currently in your Sims 3 game, close it down, make sure you're out of it, make sure you've completely closed out of your Sims 3 game, and we are going to start with what I think is probably the best fix that has graced this lovely earth thus far, the Sims 3 Smoothness Patch. Now, there have been a lot of people in the community that have said to me, Maddie, this does nothing for me. But on the opposite side of the spectrum, there have been so many people that have said this does wonders for me. So if you don't know what the Sims 3 Smoothness Patch is, I did a video on this when the patch first came out here way back in July 27th, 2021, and there's timestamps on this video in case you guys want to skip around. There's a how to install guide on this video. There's a modifying the .txt file for optimized settings. This video covers it all, but let me pitch this to you guys here really quickly. So this operates in a system called ticks per second, TPS. You can see here, ticks per second is defined as a speed of logic processing power. Now, a lovely modder by the name of Lazy Duchess, and Lazy Duchess is very, very well known for the Sims 2 RPC mod. This mod has single-handedly changed the way the Sims 2 plays. So this is a very credible modder. I absolutely love Lazy Duchess. We follow each other on Twitter, just saying. So anyway, what Lazy Duchess has done with this mod is they took the TPS, the speed of logic processing power, and they have basically sped that up. So the game loads quicker, it loads the creative style tool quicker, it makes the camera a lot more smooth, and it's just basically, generally we call this the Smoothness Patch because it makes every aspect of the game process quicker. Now, this is not an end-all be-all solution. This is just a really good way to kind of give yourself a little bit of less lag, but of course there is lag still. It is a Sims 3 after all. But that would be my recommendation to you guys. First and foremost, please, everyone, even if you aren't specifically playing the Sims 3 Island Paradise, Smoothness Patch is always my go-to. And people are saying, Maddie, my game is stuttering and it's laggy. And I always say, well, do you have the Sims 3 Smoothness Patch? Now, to kind of go along with that, this is not necessary. If you are on Origin, I'm gonna pitch this to you guys. So this is kind of the second recommendation I would give to you guys. Lazy Duchess, the same creator as the Smoothness Patch mod, also has a Origin launcher for the Sims 3. Now, this works really well with the Smoothness Patch in general. It's actually optimized to work with the Smoothness Patch. As you can see here, it says load ASI mods, which the Sims 3 Smoothness Patch is an ASI mod. You can also click the option bypass launcher, so it will launch right into your game when you click on your Sims 3 icon down here. And last but not least, Lazy Duchess's Sims 3 launcher. There is also a search option here in your Sims 3 downloads, which this is probably the best plus of downloading this mod would be the search function in the Sims 3 launcher, because natively in the Sims 3 there is no search function in the launcher. So that would be my second recommendation. This works really nicely coincidingly with the Sims 3 Smoothness Patch. Both of these mods are linked below and they are both by Lazy Duchess. Okay, so my third recommendation, and I would assume most of you probably have done this by this point if you're here on my channel, because I am a big advocate of matching your graphics cards to your Sims 3 game. But if you don't know what that means, if you come in here to your Sims 3 PS3 documents, EA Electronic Arts, and then you come down here to this file deviceconfig.log, and you just open this with Notepad. What you'll actually see here is there is the name of your graphics card, and then there should be found one, matched one. If yours doesn't say found one, matched one, then what you need to go ahead and do is go to this program, the Sims 3 GPU add-on support. Let's say mine, when I open this deviceconfig.log, let's say it said found 0, match 0. That is actually what is causing you to get this message in your game. Your video card was not found, yada yada yada, which means that your Sims 3 game is not recognizing your graphics card. So this is a really easy way to get that match. So all you have to do is just come here to this website Nexus Mods and just hit download right there. And I think you have to have a account to download from this website. So hold on. I just use like one of my throwaway emails that I use whenever I'm downloading like random stuff off the internet, so I don't get spam in like my main email. So I'm gonna do slow download here, and then it will say your download will start in 3 seconds, 2 seconds, 1 second. This is in a zipped file. I think you can open zip files natively with Windows. If you can't, then I would recommend a program called WinRAR to open zipped files. Okay, so in here is going to be a file called TS3 GPU add-on, and you're just going to double click and just hit run on this. And then what it's going to say when you open this program, located Electronic Arts origin The Sims 3, which this is good. This is what you want. So then what you're going to do is you're going to come to detect your graphics device identification. You're going to click that, and then you're just going to hit this check mark, apply, and it says patch the graphics cards and rules. And by the way, make sure you don't have device config log open when you do this. I'm going to do it again just because I had it open. Do wish to replace them? Yes. And then it patched the graphics cards and rules. What this will now do is, I believe you have to launch your game once, and then if you close it again, if you come in device config log, it will say found one, matched one. So make sure your graphics card is matched to your Sims 3 game. This is a really easy and just quick to use program. Before, how I was telling people to do this would be to like go in and edit their files, but this program just makes it so much easier, and just this program is literally made to work with the Sims 3. And by the way, if the game is not recognizing where your Sims 3 game is, like let's say you installed it in a weird location and it can't find it, if you go over to this folder right here and if you mouse over, it says browse for the Sims 3. You just have to find the install directory and just point this program towards where you install the Sims 3. So yeah, that is how you match your graphics card to the Sims 3. Okay, so my next fix, I'm gonna want you guys to go to wherever you installed the Sims 3. I installed it on my second gaming drive, the Sims 3. If you don't know where you installed the Sims 3, you can go to your desktop and just right click on it and hit open file location, and it will bring you right to wherever you installed the Sims 3. Alrighty, so what we're gonna do in here is, you're probably gonna, by the way, because we use that program, there's gonna be _.old. You can just delete these and it won't affect anything. So just delete those if you don't want them there. It doesn't matter either way. But we're gonna go to this file right here, graphicsrules.sgr, and you're just gonna wanna right click on that. You can hit open with and Notepad. So now that we are in here, what we are going to do is, first and foremost, we are going to come up here to where it says SETI CPU levels, and then we're going to have 4, 3, 2, 1. What you're going to do is you're going to make this read 4 on the top so that you don't have to change this. It's okay. 3 is also okay, but then we're going to change the 2 to a 3 again, and then we're going to change SETI CPU level low. We're going to change that to a 3 as well. And what this does is this optimizes your CPU to run with The Sims 3. Then right above that, there's going to be 2 categories that we are going to change. So first and foremost, all you're going to do is on the line of text that says set B texture memory size okay false, you're just going to add a hashtag or a pound symbol or a number symbol, whatever you guys call it, to this front line. So it's gonna offset this line of text a little bit, but that's perfectly fine. The next thing we're gonna do, there's gonna be a little bit of math required when we do this. So as you can see, mine says 2048. Now, depending on how much RAM you have on your graphics card, and I'll tell you guys how to check that in a second, the GPU add-on that we looked at earlier, this program right here on Nexus Mods, it may adjust this. Now, I think that this program kind of undershoots how much RAM you have on your graphics card, just to kind of give it a little bit of buffer room. So what I'm gonna have you guys do is we're gonna minimize this. You can also save this just in case you like want to close it or you don't want to lose the work that you've done. So I'm just gonna save it. By the way, if this notepad is not letting you save it and it says you don't have permission, what you're gonna do is you're gonna hit file, you're gonna go to save as. I'm just gonna save this on my desktop and make sure that the file extension stays as an SGR file and doesn't change to a .txt file. So we're gonna go to desktop, we're gonna save it on the desktop. And by the way, this is only for people that are unable to save this file. So if you were able to come up here and just hit save file and it wasn't giving you an error, just ignore this part, but this is for the people that can't save this file. So those of you, make sure that when you right click on this and go down to properties, make sure this is still saying .sgr. If it's not saying .sgr and it's saying .txt, go into any folder here on your computer, go up to view file name extensions and make sure this is checked on. And then we're just going to come over here to this file you save on your desktop, notepad file that it was giving you an error for, and you're just going to go over and rename it, and you're going to go and just do 3 to the right or 4 to the right and make sure that you type .sgr, and then it will save as an SGR file instead of a .txt file. And then all you have to do is just drop that and replace it to your bin here. So you just hit replace. Okay, so back to this number right here. The first thing we're going to do is you are going to hit the Windows key on your keyboard and then R at the same time. And this is going to bring up the run window, or alternatively, you can also just type in run here on your computer, which will also open this up. And then you're going to type in this right here. It's capital D X, capital D I A G. DXDIAG, and you're just going to hit OK on it. And after that, it's going to bring up the DirectX diagnostic tool here. And this is what we need. You're just going to go in display 1, and we're going to come down here to display memory, and then in parentheses it says VRAM. Now you could ideally take this VRAM number and just plop it right here instead of texture memory, but then you have to remember that your computer also has to account for other, virtual stuff that you're watching at the same time. Like for example, say you're playing The Sims 3 as you're watching YouTube. Well, The Sims 3 is going to be sucking the 12,142 megabytes of VRAM because you have allotted all the VRAM on your graphics card to the game. So what I'd recommend in that situation is maybe just cut this number in half. So if I come here to my calculator, I can take this 12,142 number and just divide it by 2, and that will give me 6071. Another way you could do this, if you don't want to use the DXDIAG program or whatever, if you know how much VRAM your graphics card currently has, so let's say I have 8 gigabytes of VRAM, what you can do is you can take that 8 number and then just multiply it by 1024, and that comes out with 8192. So then you would just take that 8192 and just put it right there. So because I have roughly 12 gigabytes of VRAM, that's how much this comes out to, although this is a megabytes, I'm only gonna allow my Sims 3 game to use 8 gigabytes because I don't want all 12 to be utilized as I'm playing. So like I did before, I'm gonna just put in this 8192 number, and then I'm just gonna save this like that. Okay, so this is perfect. We are done with everything in here. I will also put up a guide right now. If you have, 1 gigabyte or 2 gigabytes or 4 gigabytes of VRAM, I will put that on screen right now for you guys. Everyone else, just multiply the number of VRAM you have in gigabytes. So for example, if you have 8 gigabytes of VRAM, just multiply that number by 1024 and just pop that number in your graphics rules.sgr. My next recommendation to you guys would be the Isla Paradiso .world fix by LONGTERM. I have these fixes. I don't even know if they really do all that much. I just have them because I feel a lot better when I have these in my game. So if you are unaware of what these are, basically a lovely creator by the names of LONGTERM has gone ahead and fixed every piece of routing, the roads, the water, everything in Isla Paradiso to the best of their ability. Now, LONGTERM has also done these for other worlds that are quite laggy worlds like The Sims University, Hidden Springs, Lunar Lakes, Monte Vista. So if you are not interested in playing in Isla Paradiso, maybe there is another world that LONGTERM has fixed that you are potentially liking to play in. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna come to the Mod The Sims posting. We're gonna go to download right here. And now this is what is called a multi-part download. So you need to install every single one of these parts in your game. So obviously you're gonna start with part 1. Now these are in .rar files. Once again, I'm not sure if you need like a program like WinRAR or 7-zip to open these. I have not actually used my computer without WinRAR or 7-zip for a very long time, so I'm unaware. But if you are unable to open these files, just download WinRAR or 7-zip and you will be able to open them. I do believe you actually do need a program like that to open these. Anyway, I'm going to navigate to wherever I have installed my Sims 3 game. So once again, mine is on my second gaming drive, The Sims 3. We're gonna go to game, bin, and we're gonna stick right here for a second. Now, Ella Charmed notes where to install these. Okay, so first and foremost, what you're going to need to know is what expansion pack number the world you are trying to fix comes from. So this is kind of just one of those things you either have to Google or just know off the top of your head. So EP01 would be World Adventures, because the one was the first ever expansion pack to be released, World Adventures. EP2 would be Ambitions. EP3 would be Late Nights. EP4 is Generations. EP5 is, what is that? Pets, I think? Pets. EP6 is Showtime. EP7 is Supernatural. EP8 is Seasons. EP9 is University. EP10 is Island Paradise. EP11 is Into the Future. I just did those all off the top of my head looking at the icon. Oh, I'm such a fan of this game, let me tell you. Anyway, so I'm gonna go to EP10, considering that Isla Paradiso is from Island Paradise, which was the 10th released expansion pack. And if you're not doing Island Paradise, this is going to differ for you, so please pay attention to the how to install instructions that Ella Charmed has attached. But we're gonna go to game data, so let's navigate to game data. I'm gonna just drag this so I can see. Then Ella Charmed says to go to the shared folder, so we're gonna go in shared, non-packaged, we're gonna go to non-packaged, and then worlds. And here is Miss Isla Paradiso herself, her cute little 98,000 kilobyte self, her broken 98,000 kilobyte self. Let's make that clear. Now, in case you are scared of messing this up, what you can do is you can right click this, hit copy, and then we can just copy and paste this on our desktop so we have a backup. So here is our backup file right there. Okay, so let's go back to the download folder now that we have navigated to the correct folder. And I have two monitors, but I'm gonna just drag this so I can see both windows at the same time. Okay, so now what you're gonna do is you're going to start to download part 1, and then we're gonna download part 2, part 3, part 4, part 5, part 6, part 7, part 8. So I've downloaded all 8 parts. Depending on how big your world is or small, this file may be bigger or smaller. So because I'm using Chrome, I'm gonna go to just click on this in my like downloads thingy in Chrome. If you come up here to Chrome, you can hit downloads and then it'll bring up all your downloads. So once again, you may need a RAR opener to open this sort of file. I would recommend WinRAR or 7-zip. But once you have this open, it's gonna look something like this. And all you're gonna do is you are just going to drag and drop this and overwrite this. But wait, it's asking for a part 2. It says you need the following volume, meaning you need the second part, which is why we installed 8 different parts. So all you are going to do is you are just going to hit browse, and you are going to navigate to wherever you installed your part 2. So mine is in my downloads folder on my computer. So I'm just going to hit part 2. I'm gonna hit open on that and I'm gonna hit okay. So now it is asking for a part 3. So I'm gonna go find my part 3, just hit okay. I'm gonna do my part 4, then my part 5, then my part 6, then my part 7, and last but not least, my part 8. So this is a really big world. That's why it has so many parts. But once you do all that, it is going to say this destination already has a file, and you're gonna hit replace. And there we go. We have officially fixed our Island Paradise world with Ella Charm's overwritten 1. If you are unsure or if you are not sold on this idea, you can see everything that they have gone ahead and fixed. So I think they changed just like castle build, which I know does cause quite a bit of lag. I guess they fixed a port and they rearranged some rocks. I guess they were too close to the bridge or something like that. So this is stuff that you actually would have to go into create a world and fix, but Ella Charmed has graciously done this all for us. So I would highly recommend doing this. This is a really, really great creator. Okay, this next one is a brand new mod. I have never used this before, this actually got released March 30th of 2022. Yes, the Sims 3 modding community is still active and thriving because this creator, Mary D. Hoyos, I hope I said that right, made this mod called Reduce/Remove Lag Caused by Houseboats. By the way, it's only April, so this was released less than a month ago. In fact, this was released a couple of days ago as of recording this video, so this is a brand new mod. From what I know and from what I've seen on Twitter though, this is a phenomenal mod. Actually, let's see some testimonials from people in the comments. Someone said Island Paradise is finally playable. Someone said they're excited to try this. Someone says they are speechless. Someone said this was sorely needed. So judging from the testimonials on the comments, I feel comfortable downloading this, but you must remember that this is a new mod. I would assume that this creator went through immense testing before releasing it for public. So anyway, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna download this and we're gonna give it a whirl, okay? So this is just literally one package file. And by the way, if you couldn't tell what this does, this makes it so that NPCs and Sims that you're not actively playing, like townies, just people that are not in your household, this makes it so they cannot move the houseboats. A lot of the world lag comes from Sims moving houseboats. It is really bad, but this mod makes it so Sims cannot autonomously move houseboats, which is, from what I understand, a main cause of lag in Island Paradise. So what we're gonna do is we are just going to go right into our Sims 3 electronic arts. We're gonna go to mods, packages, and I have everything organized because I am constantly taking things in and out of my mod folder because I am Sims YouTuber, so I kind of have to experiment with stuff every now and then. But I'm just gonna put this in my important mods folder, and I'm just gonna go in here and just drag and drop it. This is a package file, so this functions just like any other mod. And yeah, also they write that you don't have to delete the Scott family, which is one of the suggested fixes. Previously to the release of this mod, everyone tells you to delete the Scott family because the Scott family is actually the only family, I think, that is pre-made that lives on a houseboat. So you no longer have to delete the Scott family. This mod should take care of NPC Sims autonomously moving houseboats. They will no longer be able to move them, but your family, your active family, can still move their houseboats, so don't worry if you want to move yours around. My next recommendation for you guys would be NRAAS Overwatch. Now, if you know my channel, you probably know that I have a huge video. It's an hour and a half long. It's movie length. That is a feature length film length of going over every single mainstream NRAAS mod in detail and how to use it. I'm sure some of you are just exhausted about hearing about NRAAS stuff. You don't see the hype, but I'm telling you guys, if you get these settings and you change them, these mods will make your game. I'm telling you that right now. If you don't want to put in the time to fix your game and use NRAAS, then you're gonna have to deal with lag. Like, there's just no way around it. I'm sorry to say, but you also need to remember that air trap, for one, there's no settings you have to change. So this is literally just dragging and dropping it right into your Sims 3 packages folder. This is just a drag and drop mod. And then NRAAS Go Here, I don't believe you have to enable or disable anything. So these are two mods that you quite literally just drag and drop, and they make all the difference. So if you're unaware of what these mods do, these mods, I don't think they were created, someone corrected me before, but I don't think they're made by Chain Reaction. Chain Reaction is just the one that keeps up with the updating of them. But for all intents and purposes, these mods are upkept by a creator named Chain Reaction. And my recommendations for NRAAS mods that will make all the difference in terms of lag are NRAAS Overwatch, NRAAS Go Here, NRAAS Air Trap, and NRAAS Register. Now, NRAAS Overwatch basically cleans the cars in your town and resets stuck Sims that are stuck in their aging, all that kind of stuff. And it does this at like 3 a.m. or something when all your Sims are asleep. So you will get the dreaded 3 a.m. freeze, but your game will promptly unfreeze. NRAAS Overwatch basically overhauls the EA routing and replaces it with nice new NRAAS routing. And this mod is really cool too, because in game you can stack the Go Here interaction in the queue. So meaning I can like click multiple times. Normally the game will cancel out if you have your sim, going here too many times. But this actually allows you to stack those in your Sims's like queue, your Sims's interaction queue, which is really nice. Next up, I have NRAAS Air Trap. Now this is one of those mods that is probably the most crucial on this list. And a lot of people get frustrated with this mod because it will sometimes throw out like 10, 20 different notifications if it has a sim that is majorly stuck in your town, and people get really irritated with it and they end up deleting it from their game. But this is a core mod. You guys gotta realize when you install a core mod and then you just randomly rip it out of your game, that is kind of bad for your save file. Anyway, I would highly recommend this mod. This isn't a mod that you have to change any settings or anything like that. This is one that you just throw in your game, and in the background, it passively catches corruption and logs any errors or anything like that. And then last but not least, this is NRAAS Register. This is probably the one that I have that I noticed the most difference. And I actually use NRAAS Register as a way to cap the amount of stray dogs, stray cats, and stray horses I have in my town. But this makes all the difference in a really big world like Isla Paradiso, where you have a lot of stray animals just roaming around. I take them all out of my game. I want no strays. So I am now in game, and I'm gonna show you guys the optimized settings I have for all 4 of these mods. First and foremost, I'm going to either go to City Hall, or you can click on any computer in the town and you just click and go NRAAS. You go Overwatch. I have a lot of mods in here, so I gotta search for Overwatch. There she is. And then I'm gonna go to settings down here. So you can pause the video and copy my settings if you wish, but I'm going to highlight some of the ones that I think are pretty important. So things like cleaning up vehicles, cleaning up the laundromat, cleaning up inventory, cleaning up elevators. These are all things that I think are on by default in NRAAS Overwatch that I would highly recommend keeping on. Also, cleaning up all homeless. This will be set to false when you first download this mod, and I would recommend putting that to true because this makes it so that you don't have just random homeless sims around town. But don't worry, this won't affect any service sims like bartenders or party dancers. Those sims will still stay in your town. I would also recommend disable the full moon lighting. This is that weird glow that the Sims 3 Supernatural puts on your screen, that kind of like green tint. You have to do this before the full moon hits, so make sure you do this like the days leading up to the full moon. Just turn it to true, or if you're gonna forget, turn it on, you know, instantly when you start your new town. Next up, display nightly notifications. Turn this one to false. This will spit out a notification every night at 3 a.m. I don't care. Like, I don't care if Overwatch does its cleaning or if it doesn't do its cleaning. I just want it to clean in silent. Like, I don't need a nightly notification telling me how many Sims it reset or however many TVs it turned off. I don't need that. Also, deleting all magical gnomes. Gnomes teleport around in The Sims 3. They can get stuck in doorways. They're just annoying. They're an extra object that my game has to account for. So I just have my game deleting all the magical gnomes in my save. And then last but not least, another setting I would recommend having is testing cheats enabled. So this makes it so that instantly when I load up my town, I don't actually have to type in testing cheats enable true or anything like that. Like, I just loaded up my game right now and I already have testing cheats. If I shift click on anything, it makes it as though I already typed in the cheat code when I haven't typed it in. And that comes with NRAAS Overwatch. That is a super nice feature to have. You don't have to type in anything. It just is on by default when you load up your town. Okay, so next up is NRAAS Go Here. So NRAAS Go Here allows you to stack the Go Here notification in the queue, which is really nice. Whereas in base game Sims 3, these would all cancel out and you wouldn't be able to stack them like this. But if I actually go in NRAAS Go Here, you can pause the video to once again copy my settings, but I have allow boat routing to false. This disallows Sims to use boats when they're routing. I also have disable active go home. So this will make it so that your active sim will not autonomously be pushed to go home by themselves. You kind of have to be keeping an eye on them. Sometimes if your sim is tired or hungry, they will automatically just try and push themselves to go home, and they'll have to travel all the way across town, and then they'll show up at home like, what are you doing here? Why? I told you to be out and about. Why are you home? Why are you home right now? The next one I have is disable auto grouping, which makes it so that when you have 2 sims, let's say I send, you know, my sim here with her son, and I click here, go here with, let's say, River Taylor. In base game Sims 3, the instant I do that, it would automatically put River and Meadow in a group together. When you have that set to true, it makes it so that the game will not automatically put those 2 in a group together. It's actually a really nice setting to have, because when I have 2 sims go to a lot, sometimes I'm doing it just for the free ride, for the free car ride, and I don't automatically want them to be put in a group together. But that's kind of like personal preference. And also what this does is, even with sims that are outside of the household, so let's say I have Meadow and I'm having Meadow, I don't know, invite over, let's say, her mom Ivy. If I were to have her do the invite over by the phone interaction, when Ivy arrives on the lot, it would automatically put them in a group together. With that set setting turned to true, it will not any longer auto group them in a group like that. So once again, personal preference. This last setting, I have no idea why it is under NRAAS go here. Like, it doesn't feel like it should be under here, but it is. So this is the rude guest liking gate. If your sim goes over to another sim's household that they don't know all that well, and they use their shower, their bed, etc., etc., that host will end up yelling at your sim. So if you set this to -101, this will disable the rude guest liking gate, which will enable you to do those kind of things at your sim's friend's house, or whoever. They don't even have to be your friend, like an acquaintance. Usually if I'm sending my sim over to someone else's house, they are supposed to be my friend anyway, so obviously I want my sim to like be able to use their stuff without getting yelled at. So the next mod I recommended to you guys was NRAAS Air Trap, and as I mentioned before, this is not one of those mods that you can go to like your city hall or your computer and there will be an option for it in here. This is one of the mods that works in the background. Now this is also one of the mods that I mentioned pisses people off the most because it does spit out a lot of notifications. There have been numerous postings on the NRAAS forums saying I've got so many notifications from Air Trap, so on and so forth, but that's a good thing. You want those notifications because what those notifications are actually doing is they are spitting out a notification that will be logged in your Electronic Arts Systems 3 folder. You can clearly see here there is a file called script error, and then it has your computer name. Mine is Maddie University PC. So what you can do is you can right click and just open this, and it's probably going to open in a Windows Explorer, which is quite unfortunate, but it's fine. And this is going to show you what the NRAAS script error program caught. So I guess this found a car that was corrupted or was broken and ended up destroying the car, which is good because that's what you want Air Trap to do. You want it to catch those corrupted objects and delete them. So in this regard, Air Trap actually worked perfectly as intended. And then what you can do is either one, you can look at it yourself and see if you can track down the problem, or number two, you can come here to the NRAAS mods, and then if you come here to discussions, you can upload your script error, and someone, either one of the mods or a helper or a chain reaction themselves, will get back to you telling you what the problem is in your game. So I'd highly recommend getting this. This is one of those mods that is like insanely helpful actually to have, because if you have a corrupt mod, this will tell you by throwing you a script error, and this may be the only way that you know that you actually have a corrupted mod in your game. So I'd highly recommend getting Air Trap. It is very helpful even though you don't actively change anything in the game. Okay, last but not least, the last mod I'm going to go over by NRAAS in this video that I think helps with lag is NRAAS Register. What I primarily use this for is animal control here, and what this basically allows you to do is it allows you to limit the number of wild horses, stray dogs, stray cats, the amount of deer, the amount of raccoons, etc., etc., and even unicorns that you have in your town. Typically I will put 0 horses because horses are the main culprit of lag for worlds. As far as like the animals go, they are really bad. They were not routed all that good, and so I disabled them completely. This will make it, however, that so that you can still have horses in your active family. You just won't see them roaming and running around town. So highly recommend would disable wild horses. And then I only allow 2 stray dogs and 2 stray cats in my town. This is all personal preference, by the way. Just depends how much lag you want to put up with. But then I allow 1 deer and 1 raccoon and 1 unicorn in my town. Oh, and how could I forget? Another thing in NRAAS Register is the tourist. Now, once again, personal preference, but NRAAS Register allows you to disable or enable the world tourists. So basically those tourists that you see from China or Champlain Sim or Egypt, this is where you can turn those on and off via NRAAS. So allow tourists, I have mine set to false because I don't like the way that EA spawns a tourist in. They will basically pull the tourist from thin air. Like if you were to see a tourist from Champlain Sim France and then travel to Champlain Sim yourself, that sim wouldn't be living in that world. The way that EA does it, they just pull the sim out of thin air. Not only that, but if you decide to marry one of these tourists and bring them into your household, you'll notice that they all have generally the same face template, and that is because the way that EA spawns in these pre-made sims, these pre-made randomly generated sims. So long story short, I disable them. I don't like my game pulling random sims out of thin air. I think it just creates lag and all that kind of stuff. And those are the settings that I changed. There's a lot of other stuff in here that you can play around with. You can change the amount that Sims get paid per hour for, you know, paparazzi, mixologists. This is like really in detail stuff that I really don't use all that much. But if you would like to play around with this mod, it does a lot of cool things, so I'd highly recommend. Alrighty, so let's say you've been playing in Isla Paradiso. Obviously, I am not in Isla Paradiso. I have yet to port this family over. That is going to be another video. But let's say I've been playing this family for a long time. Like, I've been playing this family for 11 weeks, guys. 11 weeks. That is an insanely long time. So as you can tell, I mean, lag is inevitable. I can do everything that I've told you guys about and still have lag. Like, what does that say about The Sims 3? It says that it's a poorly coded game, but I love The Sims 3 nonetheless. So anyway, what you can do is once you have been playing your game for a pretty long time, what I would recommend, there are 2 steps that I'd recommend taking. Mind you, this is only if you've been playing for an extended period of time, and this is not exclusive to Isla Paradiso. You can do this in any world that you want. The first thing I'd recommend doing is going over to NRAAS Master Controller. If you don't have Master Controller, I don't know what you've been doing this entire time, because this is like the most bare bones essential NRAAS mod. So once you have Master Controller, I'm gonna go down to town here, and I'm going to go to reset everything. Now this is what we call in the community as a total town reset. What this does is it resets every single object in your entire town, from the Sims to the animals to the furniture objects to the cars to anything else you can name, inventory stuff, housing lots, everything. This resets everything that you can possibly think of. And I'm telling you, these total town resets will get your game like you just loaded it in, like you just started it. I am 11 weeks into this save, which is an extremely long period of time. That is several generations worth of time. And these total town resets are my #1 key in how I keep my town feeling fresh. I do these once every couple sim weeks. You might have to start doing them more regularly once you get deeper into your save. And yes, you will notice your portraits over here flickering if you did see those when I was talking. That's just what ends up happening. And the further you get into the save, the more lag there's gonna be. So it's gonna take longer and longer for these total town resets to get finished. So just be patient, don't worry. As long as this plumb bob here doesn't freeze completely, your game is not frozen. You just gotta give it some time. So once your total town reset gets done, it will say how many objects in town it has reset. Bigger worlds will have more objects, smaller worlds obviously will have less. I have almost 24,000 objects. I think that's on the higher end of the spectrum, but you have to remember, I have literally been playing this town for 11 weeks, so that's a while. Now, what you will notice is that when you do one of these, everyone is going to have their motives reset, and they're all going to be standing by the front door. So I'd recommend doing these when it's not during the day, because if you do it during the day and your Sims are working, you're going to have them go all the way back over to wherever they're working, like their job sites, and resend them there, and they're going to miss out on a little bit of pay. So I'd recommend doing these at like 3 a.m, 4 a.m, around that time when all the Sims are asleep in town. That is how you do a total town reset. So that is once you've been playing your save for quite a while. Okay, now my second recommendation, if you've been playing your save for a while, would be to utilize Regul Save Cleaner. This is like one of those programs. This will fix your game more than a total town reset will. This program is phenomenal. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna go to the Regul Save Cleaner on Mod The Sims forum posting, and you're just gonna click on this one right here. The most recent one I think is the one you want. So I'm just gonna click on that one. What I like to do is I like to go into my documents, electronic arts, and I'll just make like a Regul Save Cleaner folder. And I'm gonna open that folder, and I'm going to just hit Control A and just drag and drop and extract everything in here. We can close that out. And what you're gonna do is you're just going to start the Regul Save Cleaner.exe. Just double click that and open it up. And this is going to be once you are closed out of your game. So make sure you're not in your game, you're closed out, everything is closed up. Now you gotta kind of be careful with this program, because if you check the wrong thing, you could be removing things that you can't get back. Like, let's say for example, photos. If you click remove photos, this is going to remove all those really precious memories of, you know, Sims in university, taking photos together, or even photo booth photos. Those are all photos that you can't get back. So what you're gonna do is before you check anything, just mouse over it, make sure that you genuinely do want to remove it. What I would recommend doing, bare minimum, is I would recommend removing family portraits. I'm gonna keep that checked. Deleting character portraits, don't worry, these will all regenerate, so it is safe to click these two. Lot thumbnails, you can also check, that's fine, but removing photos, this is up to you. Do you want those photo booth photos? Are you okay with them being deleted? If you're not, then don't check it. If you are, then you can check it. Texture textures, I wouldn't check this because this makes your lots get really weird. I did this once and it made all my lots in town gray until I loaded in on them. So wouldn't recommend removing the textures. And then generated images are much like the photos, the prom photos, the photos you can take at the festivals. I wouldn't recommend getting rid of those unless you want to. And I would also recommend checking enable clear catch. This just removes those files like the cast part catch, the compositor catch, script catch, the sim compositor catch, all those will clear those out. And these are all files that regenerate anyway, so it's perfectly okay to delete them. Now, if you are scared what this tool will do, you can create a backup. I've used this tool many times, so I'm not scared of Regul Save Cleaner. But if you want to make a backup, this option is here for you. And then last but not least, you're going to choose a family to do this on. So I'm just going to choose the family I was just loaded into. You can also choose to clear memories. I don't want to do that. I like my Sims as memories. Thank you very much. You can also choose all families if you wanted to do all of these. So that's an option for you, but I'm just going to choose one family right now. So now that I have all those options checked, I am going to just hit clear on this and it's going to clean my save. So as you can see here, this gives you a little detailed write-up. So as you guys know, as I just showed, I've been playing that family for 11 sim weeks. So my old save file was 284 megabytes. For frame of reference, a family that I have not played as long, let's see how big their save file is. Let's just go to this family right here. So if I go properties, this save file, which is every expansion pack, but into the future, it's 46 megabytes versus this family that I have that I showed you guys earlier that I've been playing for 11 weeks. This is 248 megabytes. There is a huge size difference. This is an extremely bloated save file. At this point, if one of you were giving me this screenshot, I would honestly recommend just moving your family to a new town because this save file is way too big to be running at a good speed and like not lag. But Regul Save Cleaner managed to delete enough files that it got it down to 235 megabytes. Now, let's say this is your first time doing this to your save file. You can have like 50 megabytes removed, but because I do this quite often, it only removed 5% of my save file. So anyway, long story short, if you have been playing your town for a while in Isla Paradiso, this is definitely something that you want to look into because this is really great. This is a really great program. Okay, so I've just loaded back into my game after the Regul Save Cleaner. Now, if your portraits over here in the side are missing, do not worry, they will regenerate. Just give it a second, okay? And also all of the objects in the world, everything just has to load. So give it a second. You kind of just went and dug through your files, cleanse everything, so it will take a second to kind of like reboot back up. And also, if you go to save your game, don't be alarmed if it takes like an extra minute or two to save, because for some reason after you use Regul Save Cleaner, it does take a little bit longer to save your game after you do that. I don't know why that is. It just does. But don't worry, everything will be okay. Don't be alarmed. The last thing I want to talk about in this video is the resort Hobart's Hideout, or I think it's called Hobart's Hideaway. At any rate, it is this starter resort. There is a problem where the maintenance staff at Hobart's Hideaway are stomping and they complain with no end. And the cause of this apparently is that there are bug spawners located underneath the ground. So apparently it's hard for the staff to get over those spawners without complaining. So this creator has gone ahead and told you a solution of what to do. Basically, it's just deleting spawners from the lot. So that's pretty easy to do. You just open up testing teeth enable true, you go into buy debug, and you just delete the spawners. Now, if you guys have Sims 3 store content that you have sailed the 7 seas for, and you have installed the Sims 3 store content fixes, I need to warn you, those fixes actually make it so that when you enter buy debug, you can never save your game. It's a problem that was never fixed with the store fixes. So if you have Sims 3 store fixes because you sailed the 7 seas for your Sims 3 store content, then I'd recommend just pulling those out of your save file. So you can come down here to store to crap fixes, store fix underscore fixes, and XML package, and just drag them like on your desktop or something. Just drag them out of your folder. And you also have to go into overrides and do the same thing for these 3 in here. So take these 3 out of overrides, take these 3 out of the packages, and then go into buy debug, and that will make it so you can save your game. Yeah, there's a conflict with one of these files. I don't know which one it is, but it makes it so you can't save if you enter buy debug. But if you pull them out before you load into the lot and try and enter buy debug, you'll be fine. Just make sure you put them back when you're done done with playing around and by debug. Now, the last thing I'm going to talk about briefly in this video is the Scott family. So the Scott family is this family living in the Sims 3 Island Paradise. Now, they start out on a houseboat, and if you even go to the Sims wiki, you can see here this family's houseboat is known to cause dramatic lag in Isla Paradiso. This can be fixed by docking the houseboat or moving it somewhere else. You go to any forum post, look at, I just found 3 in a matter of a minute. So this person's saying the Scott family causes lag in Isla Paradiso. This person on answers.ea is saying delete the Scott family, and then this person who we just looked at their fix for Hobart's Hideaway is saying to delete the Scott family or move them or whatever. So I found these 3 in a matter of a minute. Now imagine how many others are out about, you know, on the internet recommending to just delete them altogether. Now, I don't know if this is actually true, that they are the culprits of the lag. I can only assume it must be, because there's been such a outcry from the community that this is a big problem with them. But as long as you have this mod, which I recommended earlier in the video, this is a brand new mod. This came out just a couple of days ago, which disables the autonomous moving of all NPCs with houseboats. As long as you have this mod, you don't have to do anything with deleting the Scott family. The Scott family should be completely fine leaving them. Even the creator of this mod writes that they did not delete the Scott family and they played for 6 sim days and had virtually no lag. So according to this creator of this mod, you do not need to delete the Scott family as long as you have reduce/remove lag caused by houseboats. So long story short, do we need to delete the Scott family? Probably not. Probably not. If you have this mod, you should be completely fine. But just in case you do want to delete them, go ahead and do that. I personally like to have every single sim, you know, makes up a town, because I think that they contribute to one piece in a larger puzzle of the lore of the world. So I don't like to delete anybody. And also I love when story progression, you know, messes with the Sims and they live their own lives and all that kind of stuff. So I personally do not like to delete anybody. That's not my MO here. So guys, that is my complete guide on how to fix Isla Paradiso. I'm going to be doing this in my own game pretty soon because as I mentioned at the beginning of this video, I'm going to be moving on to Island Paradise in my own Let's Play. So I thought I would show you guys everything I'm doing to fix that world for my Let's Play. If you guys have any questions, you can answer them in the comment section below. I hope you got something out of this video, and I will catch you guys all in my next one. Peace out, guys.